President Biden's State of the Union address is getting the expected feedback.
I was struck and stirred by the soaring spirit and energy of this historic speech.
But he refused to acknowledge the responsibility that the Biden administration has for helping create many of those problems.
But there is one point in particular that's had a huge impact on the state of the economy, and that's runaway inflation.
Too many families are struggling to keep up with their bills. Inflation is robbing them of gains they thought otherwise they would be able to feel. I get it. That's why my top priority is getting prices under control.
But still, even some in his party felt that he fell flat on inflation. Check out this tweet from David Axelrod. He's a former Obama advisor. But even with that, Biden really tried to explain how he wants to tackle inflation, giving a laundry list of ways he plans to do it.
Instead of relying on foreign supply chains, let's make it in America.
What struck me about this part is it sounds like a very America First policy, but many Republicans didn't bother to be stirred by it. But with American manufacturing, it's not really something that belongs in the immediate context when we're talking about 40-year high inflation. President Biden mentioned the price of cars. Used car prices up 40% in a year. A lot of this due to the lack of new cars over a semiconductor shortage that we've been seeing overseas with global supply chain issues. Even when we start to build semiconductor factories right here in the United States, that takes years. So while American manufacturing may be ready for the next crisis, it's not going to be what drives down inflation right now.
Another thing to keep in mind is the Republican response from Iowa's Governor Kim Reynolds. She made no mention of manufacturing at all in her remarks, but she did hammer down on how inflation impacts the middle class.
They were warned that spending trillions would lead to soaring inflation. They were told that their anti-energy policies would send gas prices to new heights, but they plowed ahead anyway, raising the price at the pump by 50% and pushing inflation to a 40-year high.
Unfortunately, there's little that Biden can do on that front right now when it comes to high energy prices, high food prices, all being driven up even more because of the crisis going on between Russia and Ukraine. We're getting new inflation numbers coming out next week. They're expected to get even worse.
And I think all eyes will be on just how much worse we're going to see those numbers coming. For Simone Del Rosario in New York, I'm Annie Anderson here in Washington, D.C.